Hello, Dental A Team listeners. I am here with you again today with my fave podcaster. I'm sorry, rest of the team. She's got that title right now. She's got the crown. Miss Christy is here with me today. And this one, we had to chat about it beforehand, and I'm excited. I'm now excited for this. We had to brainstorm a little bit before recording this podcast to ensure we were on the right track and like-minded on this, which I think speaks volume to the podcast topic, but also to how well our team works together and how well our team really is bonded. And Christy, before we get into today's topic, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for giving me, it's Monday today, so giving me your Monday afternoon so we could record a couple of podcasts. How are you?
Good. I always look forward to my Mondays when I get to spend them with you.
Thank you. I used to do these on Fridays, which was like, oh, it's a fun way to end the week. But I was like, I think it's a fun way to start the week too, because we get time together. And then I just like them better on Mondays. So hopefully you guys do too.
I agree.
So today's podcast, you guys, if you're subscribed to our newsletters, you know that our podcasts kind of follow the same topic and genre of our newsletters. If you're not subscribed to our newsletters, hop over to thedentalateam.com, hit subscribe, because there's actually, we follow the same cadence and the same topics, but they're going to be a little bit different. So if you're looking for more information, a lot of times they have downloads in them too. So if you're not subscribed, go do that. Our marketing team would love me for that little plug. But truly, if you're not getting those yet, you should be. So go grab them. Today's topic I think today's topic on podcast might be a little bit different than topic by newsletter. And Christy and I wanted to take a stab at really kind of switching the mindset on this space. And Christy, I think I'm going to boost our egos. I think you and I actually do really, really well at seeing something and flipping it and being like, well, what if we looked at it from this angle instead of that one? I think you and I actually do really, really well at that. So thank you for working together with me on that. Today, you guys, your newsletter coming through, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. Today's podcast, we're really going to be talking about not offboarding, like what to do, how to let someone go, because we're really not here for that. Like the consulting team is here for doing everything we can to hire the right person and to make sure that there's complete clarity around everything that each individual is doing, that the path is set and you actually have no questions about keeping them on or offboarding them. Like that's in your court, that is not in our court. So we thought it would be more beneficial and more fun for the two of us to really talk about onboarding correctly and even before you're onboarding, what that looks like. And Christy, I think this might actually be fun. I'm just spinning us a little bit, but I kind of want to talk about us attracting you into the Dental A Team, because you haven't always been here, right? No. We have met you, Kara and I have met you a long time ago, but you haven't been with the Dental A Team forever, even though to us and likely to all of our listeners, it does feel like you have been a part of this team since the very beginning, which I think also speaks volumes to our topic today, because that goes right along with what we're thinking. Now, how did that happen, Christy? Like, how did Dental A Team, how did we attract you? You found us. We are so thankful for it. But how did we attract you, who fit so seamlessly into the dynamics of our team, our goals? You literally consult just like we do. Like everything about you embodies who we are. How is that possible? How did we do that?
Yeah. With every place you go, there's little things that may change a little bit, but the heart of things don't change. And so you're right. If we align not only in process, but also culture. And so, when it came time for my journey to shift and change, it was important to find the like-minded space and people, not only for me to help them grow, but for you guys to help me grow, right? Like they say, look around who you surround yourself with, because you're kind of like the top 5 people you hang around, right? And so it was really important for me to find that culture and and process both, you know, and I'll make sure we were aligned.
Yeah. Thank you. I
Yeah.
think if you guys can hear what she's saying, right? Christy's saying that she was able to see that she was in alignment with who we are as humans, that our goals, our vision, our company's standards really aligned with Christy. While there might be some caveats and some spaces of learning or some spaces where it's like, okay, I thought it would look like this, but let's try this, or and let's try and let's create this. um, that's massive because offboarding does, it's not easy, you guys. There's not an easy peasy process that takes emotions out and just makes it to where you're the robot that can easily just fire people whenever you want. What I do instead is I try to make sure that I'm representing our company to the best that I possibly can in everything that I do. So when I'm going through, I'm the hiring manager for our consulting team. When I'm going through, I'm doing the same thing Christy said she's doing. I'm looking to see, does this candidate align with who we are? Are the responses coming back in alignment with how we speak to each other or how we speak to clients? Is it in alignment with what I would love to see a timeline as, right? Like I've had candidates where I'm like, oh my gosh, their resume is fantastic. This is the experience that I want, spot on. I'm going to reach out to them. And I don't hear from them for like a week. I'm like, well, that's not in alignment with us. And so ensuring that on both sides, we're taking a step back and we're questioning the alignment of those pieces, I think is a huge, huge reason why it's been successful. Now, in order to do that, this is a caveat, you guys. You can't just show up and just expect everyone to know how to show up, right? You've got to really lead by example. And in my opinion, we are leading by core values, mission, and vision. We are driven by the why of this company. And that is what attracts people. That's what attracted Christy. Christy was attracted to the why of our company, our mission, our vision, and how we show up, which are our core values. I show up in our core values. Kira does. Britt does. When Christy came to the interview, she was like, okay, got it. I can see it in real life. So, Christy, as an outsider, you're applying for a job. Like, in what ways were you able to see that we did have an alignment, or at least enough alignment to say, let's explore this in that um, hiring process, like in the application process? You're sending your resume. Outside of listening to us on podcasts, I'm thinking, how can offices kind of emanate and represent that in a space where like-minded people can find them?
Yeah. Um, if I'm understanding you correctly, I think it's truly, you have to make sure you're painting clarity for people on, you have to speak your culture. Like, for instance, how many times do we talk to our own clients and say, do you have a mission statement? Do you have core values? And like, yeah, we do, somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to live it, and you can't just say, yes, I have it. You have to show that you have it and you use it and it means something, right? And so when I found you guys, you could recite it, you lived
Mm-hmm.
it, you wove it into your process, right? And it told me that it means something to you and you live by it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's our code of conduct, if you will,
Yeah.
right? And it can't just be put in a drawer. You have to keep it alive in order for it to serve the ultimate goal and mission, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. And it's just an outward representation. And so I think even in our job ads, right? And I know I work a lot with clients on this. I know I see you guys doing it too. I know Monica just helped a client last week with some job ads, but making sure those job ads speak to you, because I can write a job ad, but if you copy and paste the job ad that I wrote, even writing it for you, even my clients that I've worked with for 7+ years, I can write it for you and I know you. But unless you go in and speak some of yourself into that ad,
Hmm.
it's not going to hit. It just doesn't resonate. And so a lot of practices too are very different than who I am. So if I write your ad and I attract me to your practice and your practice doesn't, you're not me, that person is likely not going to be a good fit,
Right.
right? It's just, she could, or he could, for sure, maybe for the long run, but attracting that like-minded person takes really being able to know who you are and who you want to show up as, and then doing that every single day. It makes me think of like, if I went and applied at Chick-fil-A, I know exactly how I'm supposed to show up. If I apply at Target, if I apply at Starbucks, I know exactly how I'm supposed to show up. Dutch Bros, like I wouldn't apply at Dutch Bros because it's too much energy output. I know that, right? But if I can go to Starbucks where it's still energy output, but not quite as much, it's a little tamer of a coffee process. I really want to be a barista one day. That's why I'm saying these. I would love to be a barista. But I'm going to judge where I'm applying based on those aspects. My son did the same thing. His first job, even, he's looking at, is this a company I want to work for? Is this a company that I can represent and be happy at? Because no matter what, he understood as an employee, he's walking in as a representation of that facility. And if it's not a company that he is in alignment with, either what they're doing, he doesn't understand what they're doing, or he's not excited to be there himself, he knows that he's not going to be able to represent that, and he's going to be a really just angry human. And if they're not happy, that's where offboarding comes in, right? Like now you're into the space of like, this kid, dang it, Brody, like you suck. He's like, yeah, because I hate working here. Got it. Right. Or he sees like team members, employees that are like not loving life. Like he's judging these entry level positions based off of that. So to be in a position where we're high level, we're getting paid way better, we've got some schooling behind us. Most of us, at least CEs, at least some sort of knowledge base, or trying to get our foot into dental. We're looking at those things as well. Like, how are people showing up? And Christy, as I'm saying that, I'm like, that might be something that even is lost in the old, like, drop your resume off at the front desk. Like, we used to be able to drop it off and see what
Yeah.
it was like to be like, oh, this is a place I want to go, or oh, okay, like I want to jot that down. Yeah, so we lose some of that like visibility. But I do think this day and age, people are looking at social media, people are looking at websites, and people are researching. I know when we get finally to the interview process, if I'm talking to a person who hasn't researched us and they don't know who we are, they don't know how we show up, they haven't looked at the website, I'm like, well, that might not be a great fit, because for our culture, you've already done that. You know you fit and you're excited to work with us.
Okay. I
You
agree with
know?
you, Tiff, so much. And I love that you use Dutch Bros. Hopefully everybody, even if you don't drink coffee, they have other things. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. I couldn't work at Dutch Bros. I appreciate what they do. But
Same.
it's funny how many times that situation happens in practices and we want to make the employee wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
truly, it was our process because we attracted the wrong person. I mean, if Dutch Bros was attracting an introvert, they'd be offboarding a lot of people, right? And so
Agreed.
instead of, I mean, I like to say, I mean, when you and I looked at this topic, I literally was like, well, heck, if we're offboarding that many people, we've got to take some ownership on that
Mm-hmm.
side. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just like our patients, if there's attrition, we have natural attrition, they move away or death. That's going to happen with employees too. But if we're having to offboard a lot of employees, I think it's time that we take a step back and go, how are we attracting and who are we attracting?
Yeah.
One of the things we spoke about core values and our mission statement. I also think like it's just not our why. And you made mention of this. It's also how we behave and how we
Mm-hmm.
show up. It's the why, the what, and the how. And we get commitments around that. And if we're not getting that, I'm always about extreme ownership. So how can I take a step back and attract the right person, attract the extrovert to Dutch Brothers, not the introvert to right?
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
we're ultimately setting ourselves up for failure and for the person too. We didn't do right by them if we hired the introvert at Dutch Brothers.
I agree. And I think something you said there, that's the like Simon Sinek, like what, how, and why, right? And I think something that most practices nail is the what. We know what position we need to hire. We
Mhm.
don't nail the how that position shows up for our company. So what is the how behind how that position contributes to our team? How do they show up for our team and how do they show up for the patients? Meaning, what is the job that they're doing and what are the metrics that tell us they are doing that job or not? Because oftentimes we also get stuck in the mundane like feelings and emotions. And I'm not here to say that a stellar person, somebody, I've seen it. I've seen a manager who had stellar collections and like top notch collections, but couldn't communicate with the team. That's an issue, but that's a metric too. Like, are we, how can we tie those things to the metric? So if we can say your extreme ownership is massive, because if we can say as a leadership team or as an owner, I've done everything I can, they have complete clarity, I've had the conversations, offboarding then is much easier. Offboarding is difficult when there's still confusion, when either that person is going to be confused because you let them go because they had no idea they did anything wrong, or if you're confused because you can't even pinpoint why this person doesn't work with your team, you just know they don't work. That's the confusion. So the what and the why. So what is the position? Why do you need it? And then how do we show up for that position? And what's the clarity around what that person's supposed to be doing?
I love that you say that, Tiff, because how many times do we even identify? Let's just take an easy one. I need to hire a greeter, right? And they need to smile and, have to be able to answer the phone too. But it isn't just answering the phone, it's
Yeah.
hearing the warm smile. And we do it this way. Like, how much of that did you portray? And even how much of that did you include in your interview process? Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Did you have them answer a phone? Or this is really a different way of looking at things, but I learned a different process when I was in practice where at the end of the applying, it says, do not submit your resume. And we wanted somebody with detail. And so the
Yeah.
people that submitted their resumes, I mean, some of them were great, but we threw it out,
Yep.
right? And we never ever, we also took bias, like people bias out of it. And so our first
Yep.
interview was always over the phone without seeing them. And we would instruct them to call at a certain time and how to handle the call. Like, you're going to
Yep.
schedule me an appointment for, and we wanted to hear, like, we gave them specifics and hear how they deliver. Can you see how that then starts to align with our how and why? We painted the clarity of what to do and
Yep.
then listened for the results and saw how naturally they fit, if you will. It's a
Absolutely.
different
We used
strategy, but
It totally is. We used to do what's your favorite, respond to this with your favorite ice cream in the subject line, or your favorite candy, or your favorite baseball team. I've got offices that are in Chicago, and there's the Cubs and the White Sox are both Chicago. So it's like, what's your favorite baseball team? Not to say I love that baseball team too, or oh yeah, Sprinkles ice cream is the best, but to say, oh, you caught that detail in there. And I love that you said that, Christy. Kara and I once upon a time had a recruiting company. We are not doing that anymore, everyone, and it is hard. I hated it. It was a long time ago. We don't need to go back there. But that's how I used to schedule the interviews, is I would say, awesome, I will chat with you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. You call me. So if they didn't call me, if they missed that interview, they were out. It was an automatic out for me.
yep.
Or if they called late. But I do agree with getting the preliminary done, not having a face to face for the first time, listen for the details of what you need for that position. So if you're hiring a billing rep and you get someone you're like, I didn't love her on the phone, well, she's not talking to you, she's talking to insurance companies. So that might be okay. But if you're hiring a greeter that you're like, she was super shy, she didn't really she wasn't super forthcoming, she didn't have any questions for me, it wasn't engaging, is your patient going to enjoy talking to that person on the other side? But then flip side of that, Christy, I think you mentioned something really, really beautiful. You said, if we're hiring a greeter and we want that smiley personality, we want that bubbly person, like, you're hiring for those things. But I've also seen I've also seen practices, and this drives me a little nuts. I've seen practices that are like, I want the bubbly person who's building relationships with the patients. They're smiling, they're making eye contact, and they're excited to see the patients as soon as they walk through the door. They also answer the calls and they can pass it off. You find that person, right? And then they're like, her details suck and she can't multitask. Well, guess what? Those are two very differing personalities, and you got to choose your hard. If
Yeah.
she's stellar at building the relationships and your patients are fine waiting 5 minutes in the front lobby because she's sitting there talking to them and they're not angry when they go to the back, might be okay that she didn't call the insurance company for whatever, whatever detail was missed. Like, then at that point, it's, do we have clarification of roles and are the duties in the right seat? Because
Mhm.
personality will make a massive difference to the results that you want. And you've got to figure out the type of person that you want in those seats as well.
Yeah. The other factor in that too, Tiff, and I think in a way you touched on it was, is it a skill thing or a will thing?
Yeah.
We've got to understand and also set benchmarks for time, right? How I literally was talking to a practice last week and I just kept hearing, we don't have time and we don't have time. And I'm just thinking, you know, we can always say, well, when I learned back in 19, whatever, we won't go there, but we were just thrown in, and that doesn't mean it's the right way. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's the right way. And, we owe it to people to give them the time to onboard them and show them what we want. And it goes back to how you said, choose your hard.
Yeah.
The time we spend early will reap rewards.
Totally agree. I think that's brilliant. And we have worked so hard on our onboarding process to match it with our expectations and to match it with our core values and our mission and our vision, because we want our team to be onboarded correctly, not willy-nilly. It was kind of like haphazard. And honestly, we've hired a lot of amazing people and a lot of people who they are amazing humans. We've not hired anyone who's not an amazing human. I have loved everyone that we hired, but they may not have been the right fit for us either at that time or just in general. It doesn't mean that they're not a good person. It just means that it didn't fit. And I am a firm believer in any aspect of life. If it's not fitting for me, it's not fitting for them either. It's not, there's no way we can coexist with one of us not working out and the other one working out. It doesn't work that way. So this was so much more fun than the original topic we looked at.
Yeah, agree. Yeah,
Thank you for
I'm with
taking
you,
that.
Tiff. I mean, if we're offboarding so many people, let's just take a step back and focus on our onboarding and how we can choose differently. So, because it's not fun offboarding.
No,
It isn't.
no. And I don't want that to be like, eventually that is going to be a conversation. It is a protocol that you do need to have in place. It should be very simple. There should be no questions asked, and the person should be like, yep, got it. Okay. They might still be angry. That's fine. That's an emotional situation, but there shouldn't be questions around it. And if you need help building that, fine. We've got references, we've got information, we've got documents we can help you with, but realistically, take a step back and say, how can I prevent the need to offboard someone? I want everyone here forever. So having that protocol, sure, got it in our back pocket for if it is necessary, but how do I prevent that need? I don't want that at all. So go back through your hiring process and look at the team members that hired well. Like, I'll look at Christy and say, how did I attract Christy to my team? How did I attract Trish to my team? Like, Monica to my team. Monica was a referral from Trish because Trish knew that this was a fit for Monica. Trish knew it was a fit for us for the same reasons Christy did. We didn't even realize until after Trish started the hiring process. She knew me previously, didn't even realize because it was a different space of life that we were connected. She applied to our company because she wanted to work with our company, not because of me.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool to watch those things happen. So moving forward with hiring, I look at the consultants that I have, Dana, and I say, what attracted this human, this perfect specimen of a consultant to our company? And how do I emanate that in the information I'm putting outward? Like, the podcast, the job ads, those pieces. How do I make sure that I recruit those people again?
I agree with you. And you mentioned this early on too. One of my biggest tips would be make sure you're speaking to that employee in the beginning of your ad. So many times people write it about themselves. This is
Mm-hmm.
why, but they're buying into what it's an emotional thing that it's going to bring to them. So make sure you're speaking to that, on the onset of your ad.
I totally agree with you. That is a massive point. We get caught up in wanting people to want us. We want people to want to work with us. And I do want people to want to work with us, but I want people to first see themselves in the job, in the person that I'm describing. I want them to be able to check, 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 say, yes, that's me. Yes, that's me. Yes, I want this. Yes, I want to work with this company.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. I hope this was beneficial. I think biggest takeaways, biggest action items, make sure, number one, we talk about this all the time, you guys, core values, mission, vision, job descriptions are in alignment. We preach on this because you guys, it is the core of your company. So if those things, your org chart, those pieces are out of alignment, they're not solid yet, reach out, hello@thedental18.com. We can get on a call, kind of figure out what needs to happen. If you are our client, reach out to your consultant. Easy peasy. Okay. Don't reach out to hello. That gets a little confusing when things like that come through. So if you have a consultant on your team already on your side, reach out to your consultant. Secondary to that, check and see like what's working, what's not working, and how can you duplicate what's working? How can you duplicate that hire and keep people for the long haul? I would love if every time we quote unquote offboarded someone, it was truly because they had a life change, not because it was the wrong place for either of us. And sometimes we do outgrow each other. I do have to put that out there.
Yeah.
If you're a team of 7 today and in a year and a half, you're a team of 13, 14, sometimes those team of 7 team members need a team of 7. And that's okay too. That's a life change. This space is no longer working for me. That's a life change. It's a growth space. That's okay too. It doesn't mean that there was something wrong. It just means that we're in a new space. So go check those pieces. If you're in the hiring world right now, check your ads. Make sure your ads are speaking to you, and then check the kind of applicants that you're getting to your ads. Is there a trend in the type of applicants you're getting? Are they all wrong? Are they all right? Are they mediocre? Kind of check that and then revamp your ad to fit to attract someone different if you're not getting the right people. Christy, thank you so much. This one was, like I said, this was really fun. At first, I think we both were like, wow, that's a little wild. But I had a lot of fun with this one. So thank you for taking that journey with me, Christy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, guys, go drop us a 5-star review because you know this one was amazing. This was super fun for us. And also let us know what you loved. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. Again, if you're not yet a client, hello@thedental18.com is a really easy space to reach us at. If you are a current client that we love and adore, we love and adore you on a consultant basis. So reach out to your consultant. She is here waiting to help you. All right, everyone. We'll catch you next time.